So, hello everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat. Saadiq, one of these days he's going to tell us if he's finally recovered. I know they say that people who have issues, addiction, they are always that, and so maybe he will always be in recovery. I don't know. We'll find out one day. But thank Donovan you for being here on the Demetra K Show. This is the podcast, so it is not live, you guys. I know a lot of times when I'm kind of in the comments with y'all, I don't really say much. People say, "Is this live?" But no, it's not live. So our Sunday and Wednesday shows are live. Okay. So also thank you to YouTube for being here. I don't really put this on Facebook or nothing like that, but YouTube. So this is catered to you. And thank you all to those of y'all who do share these videos. I love and appreciate you for that. So today we're going to have a very interesting topic. We are going to start it off with that of Tyrese Gibson. You guys know him. He's a singer and actor, and he's most notably, I guess, known for crying. What do you want me to do? You know, that kind of thing. And while he's recently experienced a breakup that seems to have come to some sort of a shock to him. And so we're going to get into that. In addition to someone asked us to talk about mental wellness in the Black community. Why don't we promote that more? Not we as far as Donovan and I, but just in the Black community. And why don't we take advantage of it? And hopefully we'll have time to talk about getting prepared, because as you guys can see in your local grocery stores and things like that, and everywhere, you know, the way the economy is going, it's just better for you to just start stocking up. So Donovan, what say you?
Hey, you guys, welcome to the Demetra K podcast. We're glad to have you guys here. A quick public service announcement. Demetra K, congratulations again, has gone over 10,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel. And why is that so significant? It's the fact of the content that she puts out. It is very, very difficult to go over 10,000 viewership with the content that she puts out, which is keeping people politically, not just politically, just socially active to what's going on in their community. And that's one of the things she promotes, Black V1 first. So congratulations on that, Demetra. Another question that we have real quick is, where in the world is Walter?
Walter is in Mexico. I don't know if he'll be on here tomorrow, but we're going to find out.
Is he coming back? Is he?
I don't know.
So that's a good thing. And you guys, do not forget to tune in for Wednesdays, Wealth Wednesdays with Walter. Highly, highly great show. And here's another thing when we talk about mental illness. I think this ties into it, Demetra. Here you are, a financial guru, person that is a professional in finances. All these people have lost their homes. 401k has been affected. All of this wealth that is being taken away from the Black community. And yet you have a person giving out the game of how to survive and even maybe grow your nest egg. And yet people are not tuning in, and then they want a government handout or something else. So you guys, I think that goes hand in hand with something wrong with us as Black people. It seems like when it comes from a Black person, we don't want to listen to that. But as long as, the white guy tells us, it's got to be true. So Wealth Wednesdays with Walter tomorrow. Tune in.
Yes, indeed. That's always a riot. So let's go ahead and get into why we are here today. Of course, we're going to start off with Tyrese Gibson. Now, as I said, he apparently has broken up with his girlfriend. Oh, gosh, Zelly, I think her name is. She's
fine little thing. Go ahead.
Young woman. And he posted this on, I believe it was his Instagram. So this came from, I guess, I don't know, some site is what I found. So it says 43-year-old R&B singer Tyrese says he broke up with his 20-something girlfriend because she wasn't ready to settle down. And so this is what he said. Stop trying to convince me that your daughter is not a snake. I don't know who he was talking to. Maybe her parents. Says, I just want to be released from this strong, devilish allure of the sexual seduction of masterful manipulator who knows how to convince everyone that she's not mean of their, I'm reading as it is, to kill you. Please, God, release me from your poison, release from your stronghold, release me, I belong to the kingdom. I have so much more work to do. I am single now, and I want everyone to DM, have fun with @Zelly Timothy. That's his ex-girlfriend. She's verified now. and wasn't ready to be married. She still wants to go big, Zane, live her best life. I want to get married and settle down and really, really nest and embrace the comforts of this family and married life. I smoke hookah at home every day, so I don't want to be in your clubs or around your women. I want to stay at home and be the hard-working family man that I am. Donovan, what are your thoughts when you see that?
If that is not the pot calling the kettle black, I mean, there's so many contradictions in that. I oh boy, let's get into this. Let's get into it.
All right, so as it sounds, it is kind of weird, the message, if you will. So if you follow Tyrese Gibson, and I do on all of the social media platforms, a lot of times he's very motivational, inspirational, and all of that. Sometimes he does cry when he's having some midlife crisis, or mental wellness issues, if you will.
Sensitive man.
Yeah, when he was going through the custody battles with his daughter, I think daughters at this point, I don't know, give me the line. And so a couple months ago, he was really gushing over the very beautiful Zelly. They were here and there, whining and dining, and you could see that he would go on some of her posts and say, "Oh, you're all mine," and all of that. They would just boot up. And then this message comes out. And so from what I can ascertain from this message, sounds like maybe he's saying she used him, because verified, I'm assuming that she got her little blue check, I don't know, on Instagram or wherever it is on her social medias. And so I think maybe he's trying to say, oh, now that I can serve no good to her, she's moved on and she kind of wants to be out there. Maybe it sounds like, too, he asked her to be a little bit more official. Maybe he had proposed to her. I don't know. She wasn't ready for that. And so they are no longer together. Also, he goes on to say that he wants to be married and embrace the comforts of a family nest and all of that. But I want to go to something that's very important. Tyrese is 43.
Correct.
And she is 20-something, probably 25, give or take. And so that's roughly a 20-year difference. Now, we've also seen this in regards to that of Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey. Michael B. Jordan, I don't know, he's 30-something. And Lori is 20, maybe 25.
25. Yeah,
like
she's 25, 26.
So he's a little bit older. I would say at least 10 years older than she is. And so we're seeing these men, and I guess, because they have the spotlight as far as being celebrities, have these whirlwind affairs, if you will, with these very beautiful young women. And then shortly after that, here comes the breakup post, and and whatever this is supposed to be from Tyrese. And so I want to know, and it says Donovan is here, and I know Donovan likes him a young tenderoni or two. He does. Donovan likes the young women. And so I ain't going to tell his business. I leave that up to him.
I like women. I mean, 18 to 80, dumb, crippled, and crazy.
Got you. So what I want to know is, and we've also heard the late Kevin Samuels say, tell the younger women, go ahead and settle down. And in some respects, tell the men, get you a younger woman. I've heard a lot of men say this. Get you a woman that you can mold and she will, you can raise her, I guess. That's the kind of the premise. And so I don't know if that's really working out. So Donovan, what's going on with this, these older dudes getting with these younger women, expecting it to work out?
Okay, this is unofficial, and this is just Donovan's opinion. We know this ain't Demetra's opinion, but this is Donovan's opinion. Now, here's what I like to say, and it's not going to be popular with a lot of you ladies out there, so I know you guys are going to start coming for me in my DMs at my Facebook and stuff like that, which is fine. You guys can come at me. Okay, let's break it down. A lot of older men who've got their shit together, okay, that have, done like a guy like Tyrese, who's very successful, they have options. Okay? So I'm very sure he would have liked to stay with the lady that had kids with him and stuff, but things don't work out. So let me give you a better example, Demetra. You and I were about the same age. I'm about 25 years older than you, whatever. But yeah, at least. So young tenderoni type stuff. But let's just say you're my age. We're dating and stuff. For some reason, and I blame a lot of this on feminism. I really do, because everything seems to start in the time that we came into existence, or at least I came into existence in the 70s, where the mothers were teaching their daughters, you don't need no man, you don't need this, whatever, right? So in regards to Tyrese, and I'm going to give this to Tyrese and all these other guys, a warning. R. Kelly was dating young girls too. I'm not saying that they're doing what he did, but I'm just saying it's not an unusual thing because it's hard to cooperate with women that are in our age because they have that thing that's been implanted in their mind. So if you keep telling us we are not shit, niggas ain't shit, that I can get my own money, I can do this. It's amazing how the modern woman, the older modern woman, wants a traditional man, but yet she doesn't want to be traditional. So that would be a conflict. That would be a conflict. If a man is traditional, I'm not saying you should be traditional, but it's funny how you guys want the man to provide and do all those other things. But oh no, I make my own money. I got my own money. I can do my own thing. Doesn't work that way, right? So if you keep telling us we ain't shit, black men ain't this, and I went to a birthday party where I was talking to a young lady who's with the brother, right? And they're about 25 years old. And I'm talking to her and I said, well, what's taking you guys so long to get married? Oh, he isn't ready yet, whatever. Really. But I said, you guys are living together? She goes, yeah. I said, but you could get married and do the same thing, and then there's more benefits to it. But, he needs to make a certain amount of money. I said, well, at 25 years old, how much money should this man be making? Well, he's got to make at least 70,000, 80,000. We're here in California. I said, how many young men at 25 years old, average guys, that are making that kind of money? And I had to tell her, do you know the average black man in America makes $42,000 if they're working at all? The average is $42,000. So I said, your expectation with this man is far beyond where he is right now. So I told her, I said, what you need to do for what your expectations are is to date an older man. So I see where these younger girls are coming dating older men, because I didn't come into, real money until I got into my 40s. So, for these brothers that are out there doing it, I see why they're doing it, because you have less resistance and less backlash dealing with these younger girls. But here's the caveat with these younger girls, which is why I'm kind of hesitant to deal with these younger girls myself, other than, the basic things of sexual maturity. They want stuff that is just beyond getting. And so if you deal with the younger girl, you better go in there knowing you are going to pay for their expectations. That's what I would have to say about that. But the phenomena of why they're doing it, I wouldn't necessarily go that young, to foster a relationship. I wouldn't, not to foster a relationship, but I could see 10 years younger than you, 15 years younger than you, or something like that. The Bible does says, like, get a chick 7 years younger behind you. So there is some wisdom to that. But, a woman that's on the same level as me, the same age as me, we're going to have problems because she's an independent woman. And guess what? You could be independent by your mother self.
Like, I ain't going to tell your business, but I just heard a whole bunch of lying. I'm like... I don't tend to deal with younger women myself. I'm like,
no. I didn't say that. I said other than the aspects of the sexual aspect. I don't look at these younger girls and say, well, wow, she sure has a lot of future promise to be a wife. I never said that.
Ooh, boy, don't open up no leeway for me.
I vet women that I'm going to get with because I'm a traditional man. And if they're not on my level, then they got to go. Simple.
Okay, let's just take a sidebar. Just address what you said.
Sure.
Right? Because, there's a lot of women who have broken hearts out there, right?
Yeah.
Now, just kind of going off of what you said, as far as, you ain't trying to wife these young girls. They just kind of like something to do, I guess, maybe a little play thing. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Then once those women get older, you know what men say? She hard to deal with. She tripping. Mm-hmm. She got a wall up and all this other stuff. But yet, she doesn't get to tell that story, or she tries to tell the story. Well, when I was 25, I was dealing with this older guy. Thought he really cared about me, but all he wanted to do was get his rocks off. Then, that adds to her being hard on the inside and the outside because of those things, especially with the younger girls. And this is kind of like I get the dating a younger woman thing from with the standpoint you're talking about as far as a physical thing.
Sure.
But I disagree with it, especially if it's a much older man, because mentally and emotionally, she's not mature enough.
Right.
And I know there's a lot of men who are not mature at that age as well.
Right.
But she hasn't been through all of that or have any really life experiences or relationship experiences to know how to deal with an older man. Then you have these older men who have the ideology of, well, I'm gonna play with her body. Not saying this is you. I'm just saying I'm gonna play with her body because it's tight and it's nice and this, she ain't got the stretch marks and the, as you say, the bullet wounds and
stab wounds, bullet wounds.
She ain't got all of that going on, but she, maybe she's thinking, okay, well, he likes me. We're, because more than likely y'all done took her to all the restaurants and y'all
had a good time.
Treating her like she's never been treated before, because if she's 25, she's probably dealing with men her age to the point that she gets to you where they're like, well, I can't even supersize you like that McDonald's, or he's saying to her, what you got on my 40. So she gets with a man that's older, and then turn to find out all he wanted to do was play with her. That adds to the emotional baggage that a lot of you men complain about once she gets older.
Right. Right. Well, like I said, any man that deals with a woman should be nurturing her and teaching her, especially if you're going to be serious about that younger girl. If you really think this is, I really like her, she's very mature and all this other stuff. Sure. Do all that. If you want her to be your wife, whatever. But in the relationship, because she's that much younger, you should be teaching her things that's going to benefit her after you're long gone. Because let's face it, a heart attack could happen. You could be like The Color Purple, how'd he die? On top of me, whatever, and prepare her for that. So whenever I go out and date, I mean, seriously, I do prefer a woman my age. But my problem is this: I'm dealing with women that have a chip on their shoulder from past relationships, or they're strongly independent. And I'm sorry. I'm not going to bow down to feminism. I'm not going to relinquish my role as a man. And that's where the problems come in. If a woman doesn't want to play her role, all I'm asking my woman to is play her role as a woman. That's it. And I'll take care of my part and the rest. And if you can't do that, but let's face it, a lot of these younger girls now, a lot of them have daddy issues because the daddy wasn't in the home, especially in our community. Because when you see, what's the city girl, Young Miami, willingly, that one that's dating Puff Daddy, willingly, that's another one, older dude with the younger girl, willingly dating these girls, and she's willingly being a side chick, not being acknowledged. Everybody else got acknowledged, I guess, at the award show, but her. And she got acknowledged, go Poppy. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, he acknowledges her. I don't know which one it is. It's a city girl, nevertheless, but she's young and Puppy is older. But again, I guess I just question whether men who are playing with young girls per se, are they telling these young girls, don't get comfortable because you ain't gonna be here long. I'm just, I'm using you for my pleasure, some arm candy, this, that, and the other. Do these girls know that? Because as I said, the emotional damage that is done to her because she was a toy, for lack of better words, that carries on. And then right now in your 50s, the women that you don't want to do it, you meeting those type of women that probably have had that happen to them. Some dude playing with her emotions in her body, and then 50 years or 30 years later, she meets you, and you're like, these women, these older women, they be tripping. They got this, they got that, they got this. And it's like, have you ever just sat and talked to her and see why?
Sure.
Because I know a lot of times it's easy for us to deduce it down to, oh, it's feminism. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Some a systemic thing that's wrong with these women. They don't like black men. But I'm telling you, from my experience, all I've ever dealt with was black men, and I have been very loving, very.
Elder Bars does not count as a black man. I'm sorry.
I've been everything. I would say, I'm not saying I'm perfect, especially when I was in my 20s, I had to rah-rah, but you learn and you get older. And, so I would say that a lot of women, especially my age, I ain't gonna tell y'all, I'm 51, it's no secret. We've been through all of that, thinking that, we were the love of this man's life and this, that, and the other, and then wham! It's like, are you kidding me?
Right.
And so I made this statement the other day. It was actually on the Nation of Islam's page, and it basically said, men, and I'm paraphrasing, you are stupid, for lack of better words, if you have a woman that would do anything for you, and you did her wrong or you cheated on her or whatever. He says because they said you basically gave up a loyal person that would be loyal to you. Exactly. And so some guy says he said something off the cuff. Oh, he says, well, where are those women at? Mm-hmm. Where are these women that are loyal, do everything for you? I said, oh, don't trust and believe. We out there. I said, but the problem is we have taken ourselves off the market because we are tired of having our hearts broken. So I said, it ain't that these women don't exist. They just are not available right now because, for one, maybe they're still nursing their wounds, or they don't trust because they've been through that over and over again. And you get to the question, like, how many times am I supposed to go through that? Mm-hmm. Like, what do I need to do to not go through that?
The thing is, you don't give up. You got to keep going until you find the right one. It's just like a box of chocolates. My mom would say, there's a box of chocolates. You got to keep going through them. You know
what? And not to cut you off, I hear that a lot. Mm-hmm. Oh, you got to keep trying. Don't give up. You try. I ain't out there looking for no man. He's gonna be looking for me. Okay, so I don't.
Right. I can see that aspect. Right, but you got to put yourself out there like that. But
and I'm gonna say this too: the men that have approached me. It's been on some real nonsense. I'm like, first of all, I'm a fully grown woman. I'm 51 years old. I don't do that. I don't, And when I say that, just some of the things that, that are said to me, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be out here in the dating market anymore. Yeah. I do not like, and I listen, Donovan, you know me for a very long time, and I'm for the most part fearless. I don't fear a lot of things.
Right.
But get back out in them dating streets. I don't want to do that.
Well, I don't either. Why do you think a lot of guys are going to Thailand? They're just done with it. You know what I mean? Just where they need to go. The path of least resistance. I mean, it's so sad because, okay, I was at my birthday party, so my friend. I'm looking at my young little friend. She's 30-something years old, whatever. She turned 30-something. She's in her 30s, no kids, very successful, educated, blah, 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 right? I look at these young women, especially in our community, because I don't care about the other communities. In our community, and I say, look at this woman who is educated, got her career, all this other stuff, right? But of course, men, we don't give a shit about your careers, ladies.
Yeah, until we ask y'all to pay all the damn bills. Well, we need to go half on.
No, that ain't a man. If you got a man that's saying that, you ain't got no man. Then you ain't got no man because all my buddies that are married to beautiful black successful women, they're paying all the bills.
But I guess the point that I'm making is, y'all don't care about our careers until y'all got the ante up all the dough.
Well, I don't know what kind of guys that you guys are dealing with because
I'm not saying me. I'm just saying in general.
It's sad that these, and I'm the first to say we have raised 2 generations of young black men being raised without fathers in the homes. In most cases, the ladies have done the best that they could, that have taken on feminine traits to believe that they only have to do half. No, if you want to be a man, you got to do all. And I'm the first to say that. You got to do all. You can't be a half a man. You got to be all man. Or don't even, the words of my future father-in-law, you are not fit to walk amongst men. You're just not fit. There's no such thing as a half man, right?
I don't know. You a man. I ain't gonna say.
Yeah, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as a half woman. Either you're a woman or you're not. Either you're a man or you're not. And you got to deal with everything that comes with that. So I'm looking at my young friend here and I'm saying, the girl, fine. I mean, the girl is fine. There's no doubt about it. But I look at her like a little sister. I mean, because I went to school with her older sister. And I'm looking at this girl and I'm thinking, why is this woman single? Right? So I gave her some advice a while back and I told her, sometimes you're going to have to go some places by yourself, right? So she took my advice, unbeknownst to me. And she went to a pool party. And as fine as this girl is, she went and all the wolves converged. And she's just, knocking it out, getting numbers and whatever, and socializing and stuff like that. And I told her, I said, sometimes you're going to have to go out by yourself and put yourself out there and then you decide. But I said, you got to make the right questions and stuff like that and decide. And she said, you know what? You were right about situations like that. But I said, you also got to remember to be a woman. Nobody wants to compete with you. Nobody wants to hear about your degree. I mean, it's okay if that comes up in conversation when you find the right one. But if you lead with that, that's very intimidating to a lot of these new modern men that aren't really men. They can't compete with that because, they're still living at home with mama and they're on the couch playing PlayStation and all that other stuff. So, I mean, let's be real. That's where a lot of these guys are doing. I love video games too. Demetra, do you see me having a PlayStation out connected to my TV anywhere? I don't have time. And the time that I do have, either I'm watching, videos or I'm making videos or I'm doing that. But I have the old Atari throwback that I pull out maybe, during Christmas time or something like that. And I play Miss Pac-Man or whatever, and I go about my business. That's about it.
Right.
But that's the field that we are operating in. And like I said, a lot of these young women are now programmed to believe to order to get their number or to take them out, a guy has to drop a bag. They have a 304 mentality has now taken over a lot of these young girls. And a lot of that is the fault of us men because, the father isn't influencing them or, the guys that bought into that bullshit.
But my thing is this too, because I hear this a lot, these women expect for a man to drop a bag on them. Yeah, but y'all dealing with these city girls, and you say all the time, I love the ratchets.
I do.
But that's what comes with dealing with the ratchets and these city girls and these hot girls and all.
Not the ratchets I deal with. When they bring up the money, we're done.
Yeah, but that's what they into. So it's like, it's pay for play, boo-boo. You want to, as you said, play with her, she's a toy and all that other stuff. What you think they're gonna cost you? That's another thing too, I should say. Now I ain't saying you necessarily, but I'm saying men in general, that maybe not in general, but some men want these young women and they want to play with her and all that other stuff. But when she imposed some demands on you, it's like, hell no, I ain't messing with these women because they want you to do something for them. My daddy always said, my daddy's a very wise man. Romance or finance is going to cost you something as a man to entertain a woman. But nowadays, we have these men, and I get it to some degree, who are like, I'm not going to do nothing for her. But I'm thinking like, okay, because you hear this a lot too, especially with people in relationships. You hear men say, I ain't going to do nothing for her. I ain't going to do this. I ain't going to do that. And it's like, well, what do you think a relationship is about?
Yeah. And why are you wasting her time if that's the case? Why are you wasting her time? Again, it goes back to being half a man. If I'm in a relationship with a woman, now, ladies, let's be realistic. I'm not going to get you a Fendi bag. I'm not, going to get you, if I'm making $42,000, the average black man, I would be stupid to get you $1,000 book bag and I have rent due coming up and you got rent due and all sorts of stuff.
Why are you even entertaining that woman in the first place?
Right.
Because my thing is this, it's a courting process, and we talk about this a lot on the show. First of all, before y'all even get to talking about Fendi bags, y'all need to be talking about what kind of person she is, what kind of person you are, and morals and values and all those things need to come into the picture before she get to asking for a Fendi bag. And so before that point, you're going to know, I would hope, as a man, like, okay, yeah, I can see taking her on a couple more dates and getting to know her a little bit more. She on that, she's materialistic. She want to spend all my money. So I'm good. I'm not going to pursue her. But the problem is, a lot of you men, y'all know she want the Fendi bags, the Gucci bags, and all these trips and all this other stuff. And you ain't got it. You're broke. You barely paying your rent. But yet, instead of you saying, hell no, heifer, y'all go out in the peas anyway and go spend a little money you got on, whining and dining her and buying all this stuff. And then when the money run out, she like, well, shit, that's all I was there for. What you mean? I can't have it. So then she leaves you. And then guess what y'all gonna do? She'll go there.
Yeah, Tyrese, what do you want from me?
She'll go there, but y'all leave out the part of the story that you could have said no and you could have walked away and let some other dude who could perhaps afford her pick her up, but y'all was trying to play with her.
Right. And like I said, I agree with you wholeheartedly. You got to ask questions and get to know a person to where they're at. Thus, now that I'm older, a lot older, when I don't care who you are as a woman, when I ask you and they say, well, Don, I'm a traditional man. You know, that's it. If you can't deal with me being traditional, that even though me and you and I joke about Ike Turner stuff, I am of that tradition, because people could say what they want about Ike Turner. He was a traditional man of his time. He took care of his business. He took care of his woman. Now, the physical stuff, we know that's all bullshit, so we ain't going to get into that. But of their time, it's like your parents, my parents, they are traditional people. You do what you have to do legally to support your family, support your woman, and all that other stuff. So when I get into one of the problems why I stay single is a lot of women can't deal with the fact that I'm a real man. I'm not going to sit there and take secondary place, or if the woman is not with my program, then go do your own program. I have no problem with you going. Let's just cut the ties now and go about your business. It's simple as that.
I mean, I get all of that. I mean, but I think too, we need to really define traditional. Like, what does that really mean? Because I think that the term traditional actually has a modern definition, I would guess, or maybe a prehistoric definition. Because a lot of times when I hear a lot of men talk about a traditional woman, as I always say on here, I envision a robot. Yes, sir. Dinner's ready. You want it missionary? Oh, you don't want it? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't, that's kind of what I hear.
Yeah. Well, depending on who you are, everybody's raised a little bit differently. So what your traditional might not be the same as my traditional.
Well, I'm not, I wasn't raised like that. I didn't
No, I'm just saying, you know, for the audience out there, their traditional might not be the same as mine. So if you're from the South, your traditional is totally different than from the West. Totally different from New York.
Is from the new, you didn't hear no Negroes running around talking about no traditional woman 5 years ago. You didn't hear that. Now you hear, traditional woman.
But guess who brought that up? Who brought that back into vogue? It was women. I want a traditional man. A man's supposed to take care of a woman. A man's supposed to pay the bills. Women brought that into vogue.
I don't know how true that is. I mean, I have any data to support
that was their response to men when men were like, well, I want you to be this, I want you to, well, I want a man's supposed to be he's supposed to take care of a woman.
So then why did y'all hijack it?
What do you mean? Because they're right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about as far as you like making a modern woman a bad thing versus a traditional woman who is considered the optimal choice.
Okay. Well, I think personally, when a woman brings up traditional man and fellas, if you're listening to this, and I know you're sitting in traffic, got the AC rolling and got the old R. Kelly playing, whatever you're listening to, check this out. When a woman brings up the fact that you as a man is supposed to take care of a woman, that's traditional, correct, Demetra? Would that be traditional? Then I want you guys to come back and say, okay, that's good and great, no problem. I want you to be traditional and make sure that I have my dinner at a certain, time or whatever. It's a tit for tat type thing.
To me, the fact that we as men and women even have the traditional woman-man conversation is sad, because I think the fact that since you brought it up, a woman even saying that a man, I want a man to be traditional, I think that's, especially in our community, I speak for Black women, we are taught that if we expect for a man to do something for us, then we are gold diggers. And we're made to feel bad for having expectations of our man being able to do A, B, C, and D. Now, listen, I'm not stupid. I know we live in a world right now where the economy does not justify a man in a Black man, and not that he's not just as capable, but to go and bring in all the bacon. So it's going to probably take 2 incomes or something like that. Let's be realistic in that. But the fact that women and Black women especially are made to feel bad because she's asking her man to be traditional. Hey, you want me to carry me over the threshold? But see, people don't even have that conversation either. You want to carry me over the threshold? Then what does that look like when I get over there? Am I going to have to go work a 9 to 5 and then come home and cook for you because you want a traditional woman and all that other stuff? Or you going to meet me halfway? Like, what does that look like? Because most people, especially women my age, that's what I'm used to seeing. My mom was a stay-at-home mom until I was 18. My father and my stepfather took care of my mom and the children. So, I'm not saying
I'm with you.
I'm not saying that's what men should do now, because like I said, I know times are different. I know what that looks like. And so we've got to a point where it's kind of silly that a woman saying, well, I want a traditional man. yes, she should be a traditional woman, but she's made to feel bad for that.
Well, and again, have you noticed anybody that's in our age group, or at least my age group? I'm sorry, you're a lot younger. In my age group, nobody really said gold digger except the culture of these new men that have been raised in single family homes. And I'm not blaming the woman because the father was not there. But what are those songs? EPMD, Gold Digger.
Kanye West.
Yeah, Kanye West, Gold Digger. It's in the culture. It's just like these girls out here popping their thought pocket. They put it in the culture to make it seem and cause a rift between men and women. And really, most people that are in my age group, we don't call women gold digger. I mean, that was very rare and in between. It's these younger people that are doing it.
Well, yeah, because I remember the term when we was in high school.
Yeah, there was a term of it, but it was rare.
Elementary, and you was in high school.
Yeah,
I remember that term. You know,
it's very rare though. Very rare.
That people were getting women. They call them car hops. You know, she wanted the guy.
But you know, but there was always that girl or that dude that did that bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, trust me, there's gold diggers out there. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I think that term has been misapplied to women who are simply saying, "All right, boo, let's do it." But okay, what's like? Then you get the other side of the conversation. Well, what do you bring to the table? It's like, okay, I get that too, but it's like it's almost a combative conversation that, yeah, you know, I don't mind being a traditional woman, you know, but I want you to be traditional as well. And then that gets redefined, though.
Right. But see, here's the problem. And people don't understand the question. The table is the relationship, right? So when somebody says, what do you bring to the table? I hate, and you can see the difference between an older woman answering that question versus a younger woman answering the question. The younger woman says, I bring me. Okay, what does that mean? I bring me. So you're saying you're just basically a human trampoline for me to use and abuse, and that's all you're bringing to the relationship.
That's all some of y'all want her to be.
No, and that's fine, but that's not all of us. But what I'm saying is when an older woman answers that question, what does she come with? Woman in my age group, what does she come with? Oh, well, you know, I have a degree, you know, whatever. I have, you know, a career that's pretty much ready to go, or whatever, or pretty much done. She has all these tangibles that she can bring in regards to the relationship. Hey, I'm classy. I've traveled. I'm, you know, whatever. You know what I mean? Her answer isn't based on her body. Her answer is based on her experience.
As a man, when y'all are asking a woman, what do you bring to the table? What are you expecting her to answer?
Okay, well, when I hear a woman says what I bring to the table is I'm bringing my education, I'm bringing my woman, my motherly and wifely wilds, meaning, you know, like if something happened to you, I can, you know, step in and do what I need to do. I'm here to support you in regards, not supplant you, but support you and, you know, live the life. Doesn't mean, you know, yeah, I want you to, you know, I want you to cook. I'm not saying you have to be the main cook, but it is, I would expect that would be more so your primary job than it would be mine. Do you see what I'm saying? Our roles are defined.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but you know, like I said, I often ask men that, well, what are you expecting her to answer? Because I always, when I hear that, what do you bring to the table? It almost sounds like a trick question. She ain't gonna be able to, I'm gonna trip her up. What do you bring to the table?
It's really not a trick question. It really isn't.
Well, I mean, but I think it is because a lot of men who are throwing that question out there, they don't expect for her to answer. They're expecting her to say something like you just said, oh, I bring myself. And then I'm thinking, well, what's wrong with that question? Because herself could embody a lot of things. Maybe it's just a general answer. Myself, you know, you get, I mean, I just feel like too, in relationships, we don't understand that being in the company of somebody else that's good to you and all of that, that's a blessing. So I don't have a problem with saying in a relationship, you get me. Because if that you is good, you're loyal, you know, all that other stuff that people really want in a relationship, I don't have a problem with you saying, I bring myself. Now, the other thing, see, because there's a difference between characteristics and tangibles, right? Are we more interested in what that person is bringing as far as characteristics, like I'm loving, I'm helpful, I'm resourceful, and all that other stuff? Or are we talking about money? Or, you know, like you said, degrees and that kind of like, those things are important. So I'm not saying it's not, but what are we more speaking of? And so to me, I think a lot of men are looking for that one size fits all answer when they're not really that, because that woman is different than the other woman,
Right.
the last woman you dated, I would imagine.
Sure. Absolutely. Like I said, you could have them, fellas, and a lot of these fool fellas fall for this all the time. You see the big booty, like you said, when are you going to do that podcast? What's behind the booty?
I'm thinking about it strongly. What's behind it?
Yeah.
Y'all ain't ready for it though. Y'all ain't ready for it.
Trust me, we are not ready for it.
Y'all ain't ready for it. Y'all
because you can get.
Y'all don't get y'all get the real me for a lot, but y'all don't get that razor blade and lemon juice with some sugar. Y'all ain't ready for that.
Right. Because we're looking at it. A lot of these guys go out there and get these bad chicks, whatever. And the guy worked all his life, girls, maybe let's say she's 20 years younger than him, whatever. The man gets sick or something and she's out the damn door because he didn't really know her. He didn't ask the right questions. I'm not saying all chicks that, women that do that. But in my example, I had a woman that was older than me, was the baddest chick. I mean, I could get at my age. I mean, just everything was perfect. She had her kids. We were, we're good. This chick was bad, but she was really bad at money. And when I saw how that played out, I had to let it go. But some guys, because they are so enamored with what's behind the booty, they would have stayed in that relationship. And I was just like, yeah, it hurt me to let her go, but I'm no fool. I'm no fool.
But that's what it takes. But a lot of men, they won't. They're like you said, they'll let it go past that. Oh, you know what? Maybe she gonna change, but she got a fat ass though.
Yeah.
I know I said I was gonna let her go, but she got a fat ass.
Right. Her net game is great.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, but so you're willing to sacrifice your livelihood and everything else for a woman who looks good, and maybe for the first 2 minutes or whatever, is y'all horizontal, she could do some magical things. But it's like a lot of people, and that's true for women too, as they say, women get, enamored by the D. I'm trying to be clean here.
Yeah.
Women get enamored by that. And so that gets, you muddy the waters because you can't really see that person for who they are or who they are not, because the sex is good.
Yeah.
And, it's like, well, damn, if it, at least they can do that. But it's like, yeah, once you put your feet on the ground, then here comes the problems flooding back. You still have the same situation. And so I think it takes for us to be mature enough to say, you know what? Yeah, the sex is great. However, I don't really like this person other than that. I'm not feeling them.
Right. Like I said, and you got a lot of guys out there that prey on these young girls and have these and expect these young girls to be as mature as they are, or the women that they hang out in that age group. And that's unrealistic. Now, do I have a problem with an older guy like myself dating a girl that's 18, 19, 21? I don't even do that. I mean, even though I could, I don't even do that because
that's a little young.
Yeah, because she's still even though she's an adult, she's still mentally not mature. Now at 27, 28, she has some experience. She's been out there on her own. She's made some decisions, whatever. Possibly. I could deal with that a little bit better than, but me personally, I don't really like to deal with anybody under the age of 26. I really don't. That's my kind of cutoff thing, depending on how they are. But, again, it's like my friend that just had the birthday. I look at this woman, girl's fine, educated, all of that. And yet she is by herself. And unfortunately, geriatric pregnancy is a real thing. And if she wants to have kids, like I told her friend, I said, you guys think you have all the time in the world, but unfortunately, Mother Nature put a clock on you guys. So you got to really, you don't really have a lot of time to waste, in regards to who you're going to end up with. I'm not saying rush and just make a rush decision, but I have a lot of girlfriends that don't have any children at all. And because they're now in their 50s, they never will.
And I think too, because I speak to a lot of younger girls, or women, I should say, young women. And, I use my daughter, for example. She ain't finna let any old Tom, Dick, and Harry hop up and down on her. And he ain't, in a relationship with her and then give her no doggone baby.
Right.
But I told her that. Like, all that, the fun and stuff is cool, whatever, 2-5 minutes, however long it takes. But it's like, then you get saddled with a baby with a dude that wasn't saddled to you. You know what I mean? So make sure that man is committed to you before you commit that 9 months plus 18 to 22 years of life, really. To have a baby with him. And so I say all that to say, a lot of these younger women are like, okay, I don't know what's out there in them dating streets, but yeah, I'm not gonna be laying down with just any old dude just to say I'm having a baby because my eggs may dry up or whatever. They say out there this whole geriatric pregnancy thing when women are having babies in their 50s. I know it's rare, but it's still
Yeah, it can happen, but you got to have the money.
A lot of young women are like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna be out there being a baby mama by myself, chasing old Jerome down. He, need to help me half on the baby. I'm not, nah. So I'd rather just not do it. And I'm speaking on behalf of my daughter and a lot of her friends. They're like, nah, I'm good until I find me somebody or somebody who's suitable finds me. And he wants to put a ring on me before he puts something in me. That's you see how you look though? He got to put a ring on me.
I look like that because it's so unheard of nowadays.
But I'm saying that I don't think you heard what I said. You're gonna put a ring on me before you put something in me. And that's what I teach my daughter and any young woman that'll listen, because I didn't do it that way. I'm not saying that I did. I did it the other way. Wasn't hard, but it wasn't easy either.
Right.
So a lot of these young girls, especially my daughter and some of her friends, I say some of her friends, they're just taking that approach. Like, nah, I'm not.
Yeah, and that's the smart approach. But unfortunately, compared to other groups of girls, they're getting married while either coming out of college or in college, and they're getting married when they're fairly in their younger years. Versus our group, which is kind of either foregoing it, having female relationships or whatever, and it's really sad that the pickings out there in regards to Black men for these younger women is very slim. And I think that is very sad.
Yeah, and I don't have any data on that either. I take your word for it. But yeah, I mean, it's just I know for myself, I don't want to be out there trying to, date and all. I just never saw myself doing that again. After my last relationship, I never saw myself really out there trying to date and, vet men. I'm like, I'm not old, but I feel like I've done enough of that. And so kind of right now, I'm just hanging out or whatever. But I think about just kind of maybe to tie this into the whole mental wellness thing. I think about somebody like a Wendy Williams. Now, I know some people say, oh, what she's got going on with her is karma, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Her man, was cheating on her and had a whole other woman on the side, and they ended up having a baby and stuff. And I remember
that no good man.
Yeah, but I remember Wendy saying, I'm in these streets. I'm not in these streets because of me. I'm in these streets because he decided to cheat on me, have a baby with another woman and all of that. I don't want to be out here. And so I think too, I don't know Wendy and nothing like that, but I would imagine her being with her man for 30 years or whatever she was with, I would imagine she's probably having a hard time mentally adjusting to the fact that, I'm no longer with this man I was with all these years, and now I got to be out here in this Shark Tank, for lack of better words, going through all these dudes and trying to find, somebody who's suitable and all of that. I can see how a person would have a mental schism.
Right.
But like, and that really, really resonated with me. She's like, I didn't choose it. I didn't choose to be back out here. That was kind of chosen for me. And so, because I get that a lot. Oh, you need to go on back out there. And, I don't have a problem going places by myself. I do sometimes. But to try to put that on, especially, the older women out there who have been through a whole lot of stuff, say, oh, you're just not trying hard enough. Get out there and give it one more chance. It was like, well, I did that the last 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
That was the one more chance. And so it's like, then you see a lot of older women who y'all like to call old maids or
the setter, old setter.
Yeah, she just she educated and she fine, she got this, but she ain't got no man. Because to me, that's lazy and it's too easy to say, oh, well, she ain't got no man because it must be something she doing. It's like, that's not true in a lot of situations for women who, like, damn, I had a man, but for whatever reason it didn't work out. And so I see I was watching this documentary on Netflix. I forget the name of it, so forgive me. But they're talking about these dating apps. And everybody from younger people to older people was like, yeah. This is a nightmare. And the older people saying, I remember we really had to get it out the mud. Like, hey, baby, how you doing? I like what you got going on there. You mind if I get your number? I like to get to know you. Like that was the old school way, but now it's just like
hook up.
Yeah. all of that. And so it's a mess out in them dating streets.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, and I'm experiencing this right now, and I just want your honest opinion about this. And a lot of people don't think about this. If you grow older and you are by yourself, okay, that could be a detriment to you as you get older. And I'm going through that with my situation. So that's why I always tell people it is not cool to be 60, 70 years old and you're by yourself. Unless you're cool with your kids checking you into a senior citizen community. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm going to say this for the record. It is not cool to be 70 years old and by yourself. And God bless you. Older people, they have their rights. If they want to be single, whatever the deal is. All I'm saying is, as we get older, it is not cool to grow old by yourself. That's and from examples that I've seen with people around me, I'm not going to do it. If I have to go and I'm not just saying I'm going to pick anything, but what I'm saying is, it ain't going to happen to me. I'm not going to do that.
And I'm the same way, because I'm home a lot by myself. And, I got all these locks and stuff on the doors and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, damn. And I'm not speaking this into existence. Sure. But sometimes I think about this because my daughter, she travels a lot. And I thought, what if I was a slip and fall or something?
Exactly.
I couldn't get up or I wasn't near my phone or something really bad happened to me. Who would know? Because my phone doesn't ring a lot. I'm not really on the phone a lot. So, my daughter would check up on me and if she didn't hear from me,
sure,
she would get concerned type of thing. But I think about that like, damn, at least if I had somebody I was with and I was home, I slipped and fell, I know eventually they coming through the door, whatever. But,
right.
So I agree with you. I don't think anybody should grow old by themselves. Like I see different couples that are older and I'm like, God, Lee, what I would do I would probably do just about anything to have that, to be, with somebody and say, wow, we were together all these years and this is my everything. And, that's to me, that's the goal, to really be with somebody into your older years and say, man, we had a good run. Sit on the couch and watch stupid stuff on TV.
Or maybe like that episode of Living Color. You know what, Miss Brooks?
Yeah, but I
stay together.
Yeah, but we know people who don't want to be by themselves, but I think
have you looked at the numbers of our parents' age of the single mothers that are by themselves? I mean, the numbers in our community is horrendous compared to other groups. I mean, it's just a fact. And it's not cool because now mom is old and she's expecting the daughter to come in and live with her, or whatever the dynamic is. It's we got to think about that. We got to change this dynamic in our younger people's mindset. Ain't no man an island. Sorry.
Well, my mom, she's no longer here, RIP. But a year or so before she passed, I remember her telling me, I don't want you, because I was single. I'm single then. She says, I don't want you to grow old and, and be single. I don't want you to not have a man like me. My mom, she's been through a lot, with men, trying to be a good woman and all that. I'm sure some men will say, hell no, whatever. But she says, I don't want you to grow old and be lonely like me. She says, because I too had been through a lot with men. And I threw a wall up till I got to the point to where if I was going to date a man, I would do the hurting before he hurt me.
Yeah.
Because I've always been on the other end of being hurt. And so she says, I hear you. And this is like 2015 or so. I hear you talking about, you're going to be single. I'm team single, this, that, and the other. She says, but I know you say that because it's a defense mechanism so that you don't get hurt again. And she goes, I understand it. But she says, I don't want that for you. I don't want you to be single and, eventually telling your daughter, which I do find myself telling her that's kind of weird, I don't want you to be by yourself. I want you to be in a relationship. So I think about that. And, my mom would have been 73
this year.
Yeah, she would have been 73 this year. She was by herself. So I'm saying all that to say she didn't want to be by herself.
Right.
That's not something she saw herself doing. So she, passed that down to me. I don't want that for you. So, and I would say that I did try, once again.
Well, like I said, I never thought, I would be by myself at this age. But unfortunately, a lot of women, and don't get me wrong, everybody has their opinion. And my biggest thing is do not put your values on me, because I definitely won't put my values on you. All I'm going to tell you is cooperate. This is what I want. If you don't want to do it, then have a nice day. I'm not going to surrender my manhood because of some societal agenda out there that says that we're,
I get that, not to cut you off, but I've known you a long time. But I think too, sometimes we get too austere and we draw too much, and I'm saying we in general.
Yeah.
We draw too hard of a line in the sand of our wants and our don'ts.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I wouldn't have ordinarily considered bending or acquiescing to this. However, I like you. So let me see, I'll compromise on something and that's kind of what I'm finding, and maybe it's coming with just getting older, but I'm finding that a lot of people just don't want to bend. Oh, no, I ain't going to do this. I don't want to do that now.
Well, you have to compromise when both parties want something out of something. If there's nothing the other party wants, you don't have to compromise.
But people don't do that anymore. Yeah. They don't. I mean, I'm just saying, putting you on a hot spot a little bit. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. It's like, I'm just from a woman's point of view. When I hear a man say, what he ain't going to do, what ain't going to put up, what ain't going to tolerate this, that, and the other, that's a turnoff to me. Because it's like, as in the house as I am, I'm an adventurous person. I like to get out the house and do different things and that, this, that, and the other. But when I hear a man always talking about what he don't want to do and he ain't going, I'm like, you're yawn. You're boring. Like, damn, I'm not asking you to go bunny jumping, eat snails and escargot. I'm just saying, let's be a little bit adventurous. But then as far as in the relationship, when we have we're holding on to these, what we call values of what a man is, what a man won't let a woman do. It's like, damn, might you, I'm not saying her taking your manhood, telling you what to do and all that other stuff. You probably shouldn't be with a woman like that anyway, but I'm talking about as far as her role is this. Like you talk about cooking. You don't think you could cook a hot dog once in a while?
No. See, and that's where everybody gets it messed up. When you sit in a conversation, whatever, you know me for a long time.
Well, I'm not saying you in general.
Yeah. But I'm just saying in what I'm going to say. You know me for a long time. Yeah, I have a hardline stance of like what my fundamental thing is, what I want. But if my woman, like I said, if my woman wants to work, okay, remember, what did I say earlier in the program? I'm a whole man. I'm not half a man. I'm a whole man. A woman that's going to be with me, if she wants to work, is because she wants to, not because she has to. Okay? So if she's out there working and she comes home or whatever and she's been out late, yeah, I'll cook. Yeah, here you go. I got this going, or I have that prepared or whatever. I mean, it's a mutual thing. I mean, you got to know who you're dealing with is what I'm saying. But just because I'm doing that because you're out there having a career, hey, don't forget your role, your primary role as a woman is this. My primary role is that. I'm not saying it's permanent. What I'm saying is it is interchangeable within our dynamic. Because like I said, all of my friends that I know that have been married for 30, 40 something years, I see it. He's still the man. She is still the woman. And even though she has a job and all that other stuff, she still knows how to play her role, just like he knows how to play his role.
Yeah, and I get it. And the one time I was married for 10 months. He'll tell you, this chick right here, I ain't want for nothing.
Right, exactly.
I ain't want for nothing. There was food all the time. I mean, I'm talking about it in a general sense, because I'm a dope and dynamic chick, just all by myself, right? Sure. I brought him knowledge, and everything else in between. The house was clean. He never washed his own clothes, none of that kind of stuff, right? Because that's what I grew up with that, watching my mom and my grandma and them do that. So to me, that's my it's my pleasure.
Yeah,
it really is. It's my pleasure to do that for a man. And even if I am working, he ain't gonna come home and ain't no food on the table and the house is a mess. And all I got coming out of my mouth is gossip and let me tell you about the days of our lives or the Nene and them on the right. Hey, nah, I'm gonna be uplifting. I'm gonna impart knowledge because that's what a woman is supposed to do. One of the best quotes I heard is a man. And I'm gonna mess it up though, but a man should be with a woman that can teach him something, and she should be with a man who could do the same. Exactly. Right? So it's not all about what you want for dinner, baby. Okay. Oh, how do you want it tonight? It's more to it than that, right? But
yeah, it's a rough thing.
It's a struggle because
remember with old Captain Girl, that was everything to me. I compromised and I did what doing what I had to, even though I didn't want to do it, and I was right. In the end, I was right. I shouldn't have done it, but I did it, and I still got the bad end of it. But that's the decision of being a man. So if you ladies are dealing with this dude that shows you who he is, and he's just yeah, you got to really court, and you would figure all that stuff out as you go through it.
Absolutely. So that's our time, people. I know we didn't really get to the other topics, but we will. I do actually want to have a discussion on mental wellness in our community. As I have told y'all once before, I never, I spoke to a psychologist years ago, but I recently, the last couple of months, I had the opportunity to talk to a psychologist because I was going through some things emotionally and mentally. Trauma is what it was. And so I'm 100% better now, but I probably wouldn't have been if I wasn't able to talk to somebody. I ain't talking about talk to somebody like Donovan or, my daughter or my dad or, somebody. I'm talking about somebody who doesn't have a dog in the fight and that will say, okay, what brings you here today? I don't know. And then,
right.
When you get to it, and then you know how to compartmentalize the trauma. And because my thing is, I wanted to go to therapy, and I will get into more of this later, but I wanted to go to therapy because I didn't want to keep bringing trauma with me. I didn't want to keep bringing trauma with me into other relationships. I really wanted to know how to deal with it. Now, because trauma really never goes away completely. You just learn how to deal with it and how to spot the triggers and things that'll set you off and things that'll, have you to ruminate and all those other things. And so that's why I'm glad I did it because, like I said, I didn't want to continue, not even just in romantic relationships, but in life. And I'm not even talking about trauma that came from a romantic relationship. I'm talking about from childhood and everything else in between. Of course, being Black in America, you deal with racism, just a whole bunch of stuff. So I now know how to deal with that. Of course, it's a work in progress, but we're going to have that conversation at another day. And I know Donovan is always laying up on somebody's couch because his ass is 5150.
I have a lot of trauma. These women out here are out of pocket.
You're right. It's you. Damn it, it's you. That's what I would tell you if I was your psychologist. It's you.
Well,
you're blaming these women.
Yes. Well, I will say this seriously. I thought that when I made a certain amount of money, all of my problems would go away with women. Let me tell you guys something. All that glitters is not gold. I found it out the hard way. So it does not make me happy. It does not make me happy at all. So
that's right. God damn it. You got to make yourself happy.
Right.
So anyway, y'all, we love and appreciate y'all for staying here. Again, we have Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. You can become a member of the channel. Thank you all who are members of the channel. At the very least, like this video and subscribe if you haven't already for more insightful commentary. So we will see y'all live tomorrow. When I say we, me and Walter, maybe, I don't know, he's somewhere in the world. He ain't in America. I know that. For Wealth Wednesdays, Wild and Out Wednesdays with Walter. And so until then, be blessed. And of course, look for my videos throughout the week on this channel. So we will talk to y'all later. Peace.